welcome everyone. Your purpose for existing. And while listening to this book, it's got 28 chapters. It's a short, you could listen to it or read it in a day, but it really changed a lot of things for me. There's a lot that's happened since October 15th, and you all have probably read it in my notes. If you don't, you know, stepfather passed away. Lot of things have happened. But listening to this book, there's three main questions, and I'm only going to tell you one of them because I don't want to ruin it for you if you want to listen to the book. Because it's worth it, totally worth the time, and it's so simple and it's not hard. But it's basically, why are you here? And the question is, why am I here? And when we ask that question, we think it's a really simple question, but it's not. I've had a lot of changes in my life. I think there's some people may have the common thread of, say, helping people or being a writer or an artist or something like that. But I think at different stages in our lives that things can change. And I'll be 66 in August. I feel in my 30s. So spiritually, I woke up in my body at age 9. So I'm actually 10 years younger, basically. But um, I wanted to say that I'm gonna give you an example because 'cause I'm really good at giving examples when I'm explaining things. There's 3 main stories in here, and one is about the sea turtle, which I won't go into, and the other is about the businessman and the fisherman. And some of you may have heard this story before. I had not, and it explains a lot. Um, so there was this man 2 men sitting in a restaurant, basically, and one was a businessman and one was a man that was in fisherman clothes. So the businessman talks to the fisherman. He says, "Hey, what do you do?" He says, "I fish." And he says, "Oh, great. How's your day?" And he says, "Well, pretty much I wake up in the morning and I have breakfast with my children, my wife, and then the children go off to school and my wife does what she wants to do and I go fishing. And I catch fish and I come home and I take a nap. And then I wake up for dinner, we cook the fish, and then we go back to the ocean, and the children play in the ocean, and I hold my wife's hand, and we walk up and down the beach." And the man's like, "You do that every day?" And he's like, "Yeah, I mean, we change it up a little bit, but pretty much, I do that most every day." So the businessman, being a businessman, is like this. He's like, "Well, could you catch more fish?" The guy said, "Yeah." And he said, "If you caught more fish, you could buy a boat. And then you could hire people. And then you could catch more fish. And you could make more money. And you could buy more boats and have more people. And then you could have an office, in the city. And then in 10 years, you could be, an international distributor for fish." And the man says, "Okay, then what?" He says, "Well, then, so you could retire." And the fisherman said to the businessman, "And retire so I could do what? Do what I'm doing now?" What do you think about that for a second? Do what he's doing now without having to go through all the things about the money and the stress and what stress does to us. And I'm not saying people shouldn't work. We all work. We all have bills to pay and stuff like that. But we should do what we want, what makes us happy. I mean, I think it was George Burns that spoke about when you do what you love to do, it's not work. So the guy's thinking of all these things he can do, and we do this too. I've done it. All these things that I can do in my life to make money, to buy things, to pay for those things, to make more money, to buy more things, to do this all until we can retire and do what we want. Well, why not do what we want now? We can make money doing what we want, but we've got to know what we want to do. I see people in here. I want to say hello to everybody. Um, I don't know how to screenshot that. If somebody could screenshot for me, please, um, the people that are here that come in and then send it to me so I can thank everyone. I really appreciate it. I don't know how to do it, and I don't wanna lose you guys. Um, Another thing that they spoke about in here was, there was a golfer, and this golfer was a decent golfer, but he wanted to be a really good golfer, right? So he kept having these dreams. Excuse me one second. So he kept having these dreams, and the golf ball was outside the store on a windowsill. The golf ball was right there on the windowsill. That was what was in his dream. So he'd walk up to the windowsill with his club, and he'd swing at the golf ball, and he'd miss, and he'd swing at the golf ball, and he'd miss, and he'd swing at the golf ball, and he'd miss. So he kept having these reoccurring dreams, and he got so frustrated. Well, weeks passed, and he had the dream again. And this time in the dream, he went up to the window to swing, and he missed. And he's like, wait a minute. He picks up the golf ball and he moves it. He swings, and the golf ball goes flying. Think about that. You can move your golf ball. You can move to something you love to do. You can move from where you're living if you're not happy. You can come out of a relationship that's not the relationship that you know that you really deserve and need to be in. Leave that job. Get rid of that expensive car and get something you can afford. You can move the golf ball anytime you want. Anytime you want. It's your choice. I think those were two really good things about the businessman and the fisherman working so hard to freaking retire to do what you could do now. You know, my sister, her husband is about to retire. He could have retired a while back, but the people that retired at the job that he does, the career that he's in, every single one of them, there's been 5 after they retired, and they weren't that old. They weren't 70, not that 70's old. Mindset, that's age, right? Got cancer, died, got bladder, all these things happened after they worked so hard their whole life to buy things, to pay for things, to do things, to probably put kids through college, whatever, to be able to retire to do what they wanted to do. And by the time they retired, they couldn't even enjoy it. I mean, they didn't have to die. It could have been their health, mental health, physical health. And this isn't a doom and gloom. This was a wake up call to me. I've had fucking so many wake up calls in my life. Thank God. Thank the universe. Thank whoever. I've had so many wake up calls in my life. And I'm glad that I've listened and taken heed to them, and I've changed directions because it's our choice and we can do that. So, after listening to this, and also another change that happened, probably one of the best 2 weeks in my whole life, I had my best friend come from Germany. She's Croatian. Her name is Toni Sockerman. She's a writer here on Substack. Fantastic writer, fantastic person, fantastic everything. I mean, we all have our stuff, right? I'll tell you what, flew her over here for 2 weeks to stay with mom and me. Never done that before in my life. Stayed with us. You think you know somebody. We've known each other a year on Substack. We talk a lot. But to actually be with someone, to do things, to be vulnerable and let them see how you live and you see how they are, that changed me. It changed her. It changed mom, and we all needed a freaking change. We all needed something. There's some pictures I put in notes, on the beach. I haven't put all the pictures up yet because I don't know, maybe guys get tired of looking at them. I don't know, but it was so much fun. There were so many, talks and walks and things that, hearing people's different perspectives. And that's the other thing, I'm not saying that you can't work and love what you do, but you gotta love what you do. I mean, it has got to be your purpose for existence. And I'm not saying it can't change through the years, because it can. Mine has. In my story that I put out tomorrow, I'm not, like I said, it's not a memoir, and I'm not vulnerable in detail because it would be inappropriate because of some of the things that I've done, because of the drugs and alcohol and sex and everything that goes with it. But you get to know who I am a little bit better and why I'm here, and I know why I'm here. Not just on Substack, not just on any other medium platform, but on this earth at this time. Because there was a many, many years I did not wanna be here, and there was a time I tried to take my life, and thank God it didn't happen. But I just think that we really need to put things into perspective. Friendships, relationships, anything like that is so, so important. And if you're not sure what you wanna do, and it talks about this in the book, we have to take risks, get out, meet different people of different mindsets. A lot of times, like minds, we stick together. And a lot of us are introverts and extroverts, depending on the situation and who we're around. But be around different people, get different ideas, be around different cultures. It was amazing to see. And the gifts that she brought, and she didn't need to bring gifts, but she did things from Croatia and Germany, and to see how they cook. And listen, by the way, Americans, we waste a lot. We throw away a lot, whether we realize it or not. We do. But it's not really an easy question. And sometimes we think we know. But then when you look at it, are you really happy? I mean, really happy. There's a difference. I mean, between like happiness and joy. I don't think joy can be taken away. I think happiness comes and goes. But it really opened my eyes, and again, the book, and it's you can read it in a day. The chapters are like 2 to 4 minutes long. I listen to it because I don't have time to sit and read, but I listen to it. It's called The Café on the Edge of the World, a story about the meaning of life by John Strelicky, Strelecky, and he reads it. And it was a little slow for me. I'm usually really, really fast, and I'm learning to slow down and calm down and reset my nervous system because it needs it daily. And that's in my story tomorrow, too. This isn't really a promotion, but I'm going to say it. I started a 52-week nervous system reset, got a lot of really good feedback. There's stuff above the paywall you can read that'll help. I usually do 3 exercises in each one, and I've gotten really a lot of good feedback from it. And so Sunday, it comes out every Sunday at like 5 a.m., and it'll be week 3, and I'm going to build all the way. I'm going to do 1 week on Substack every single week. I'm committed to it. I'm also doing a drawing. Anyone that joins the annual price, which is not even worth, it's worth far less than what the actual 52-week reset is. But I'm doing a drawing once a month, and I'm doing a 30-minute free professional consultation with that person, just speaking with them. And then I'll send a follow-up email so they have their options and everything in writing. It can be about whatever you want. I'm a nurse, I'm a holistic practitioner, I'm a massage therapist, I'm a person who's lived through hell and back multiple times. Some of it was my choices, but I'm doing that once a month, a drawing for anybody that joins. And we had a winner. Met a new lady that's up in Vermont. Can't wait to speak to her next Tuesday. And exciting. We meet these people, and I mean, this is really what life's about. But I just wanted to come on and just, talk about that cafe in the book and the question, you know, the very important question, who am I? What do I want to be doing? And like I said, there's three questions in there. And it's so good. At least it was for me. Maybe there's a lot of you that have already gone through this like transformation or this awakening. I've had many awakenings in my life. Um, and good has come out of all of them, every single one of them. I really appreciate you all on Substack. I've met a lot of really great people here. And maybe one day, especially those in America, it's easier, right? Uh, I'll be visiting them or they'll be visiting me in Florida. Um, it's much harder, when you bring someone out of the country because they can only stay for so long and there's rules and regulations and things. And it's a little bit more expensive to bring someone over. But totally, totally worth it. So again, tomorrow, um, my stories is, like I said, it's not my memoir, it's not that long. It's just a little bit about me so you can get to know me a little bit better and who I am and why I'm here. And maybe I can help you. A lot of people have helped me through the years. It allows me to help others. And we're all important to each other. I mean, people are going to come and go, people will come and go, but there will be those and probably very few that will stay. And it's something you have to work on too. Friendship's not easy. Relationships aren't easy. Some of the hardest are family, right? But we expect them to put up with us because they're our family. Well, believe me, you don't have to. But I didn't really mean to get into friendships and relationships. But if it's someone that you really connect with and you both like really want it, there's going to be things that come up, and you just work through them. Are you both adult enough to work through them or not? Is it someone you want in your life? My best friend Tony, someone I want in my life for the rest of my life till my last breath, or hers. Age, illness has nothing to do with how long we're going to live. I've seen it. I've been a nurse a long time, 30 years actually, this month, 30 years. 27, I believe it was, in practice. Been all over the place, did travel nursing, worked hospice. I worked mental health crisis stabilization units. I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of suffering. I've seen a lot of death, but I've seen a lot of life too. I've lived a lot of life, and it's been totally worth it. And I really feel like with this new awareness that I have and this new I mean, my God almighty, like the last 7.5 months, like I said, have been hell since George died. I mean, everything. Both cars died when we went to go pick up his ashes. I mean, I had problems with the generator. I'm learning how to fix all these things. I mean, I'm mechanically inclined anyway. And he taught me a lot because he was a mechanic, but there's a lot he didn't tell me or teach me. And he just thought I'd figure it out when he was gone. We just had to put a whole new air conditioning handler in Mom's house, $9,500. At the same time, my capacitor goes out on my freaking air conditioner in my house here because we're on 10 acres and we have two different houses. Hers is much larger. That was $403. I mean, it was 87 degrees inside my house. That was stressful. It was stressful for my cat, too. And then, just it seemed like everything that could go wrong could, and there was no break. And the only break we got, which is really wild, is when Tony came for those 2 weeks. Mom's 88th birthday. People know she has stage 4 rectal cancer, inoperable. I am doing ivermectin, I'm doing other things, and her bowel movements are much better, and she's doing better. She has a little cold right now, but I know how to handle all those things naturally. Pretty much stay away from doctors and hospitals as much as possible. But, I wanted to take her to the beach. So we went to the beach for 2 days and 2 nights, and it was fantastic. I love the beach. Now we're talking about getting a pool, going to look at RVs, and doing some traveling. So, I mean, you just never know what life's going to throw at you, the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? So a little bit of everything. I can't see everybody here, and I don't know if anybody asked any questions because I'm afraid to touch anything that it would throw us off the live. People are welcome if they had any questions or comments. You can send me something in my private chat. You're welcome to do that. If anybody could take a screenshot of some of the people that were here, I'd really, really appreciate it because I don't know how to do that. I know there's a way to, but there's only me here instead of, there being 2 people, like we're interviewing or speaking with each other for the other person to do it. I was afraid I'd get thrown off, and your time is so valuable, as all time is very valuable, right? We don't know how much we have. And so I didn't want to throw anybody off or anything like that. But anyway, thank you all for being here. My article comes out tomorrow. Changing up my Substack, the way it looks and everything, just repositioning myself a little bit. So I'm truer to myself so I can assist you better because that is my PFE. That is my purpose for existence. Not just to love myself. And hey, that happened this year too. Took a long time for me to love myself. A long time. But it's worth it. And then we have more love to give to others. Don't do it alone. It's worth the risk. Totally. But I don't want to keep you all too long on a Monday evening. And again, happy June 2026. At the end of this month, we are halfway through this year. What are you going to do with your time? What are you going to do with your life? Don't spend it answering all the emails. If you don't want to read those emails, freaking unsubscribe. If you get mine, you don't want to read it, unsubscribe. Do what you want to do. Spend the time doing what you want to do because life is really short. A lot shorter than you think it is. And whether you believe in going to heaven, reincarnation, or just whatever you believe, it's still our spirits, which is who we are, not the flesh. We're not this. We're just in it. At this time, in this body, on this earth, that happens once, no matter what our beliefs are. Anyway, everyone be well. Thank you so much for joining me. And hopefully I'll get a screenshot with everybody's names so I can thank people for coming because I really do appreciate your time very much. I hope you all have a blessed evening. And again, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And text me if you want to text me and you want to make a comment or ask me a question. I'll be more than happy to answer. Thank you so much. God bless everyone. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.